Hello everybody. This time I thought I'd make a video about my cassette collection. It's a bit wrong word to describe them because I have never considered myself as somebody who collects cassettes. They have simply accumulated over the years. Actually, vast majority of these were bought by mid-90s. After that, I don't know. I bought only a couple cassettes after that time. I have, all in all, I have 82 cassettes, 39 of them which are pre-recorded records. So that leaves 43 cassettes that were originally blanks, and now obviously they've been recorded something, except that I still have one unopened empty tape. So yeah, actually one of them may very well be my very first cassette. This is simply a Sex Pistols compilation. Most of these tracks that are here are from Nevermind the Bollocks, but there's also No Fun included in here. It's surprising that this has survived all these years, because usually when I bought the records that I had taped, I re-recorded these cassettes, but this one has survived. This is either my first or second, because I do remember that around the same time, this would have been early '84, I also recorded a Kiss compilation. So this one became kind of useless pretty soon, because I found Nevermind the Bollocks, and by now obviously I also have this on vinyl. A majority of those empty tapes I used for recording albums that I borrowed from my friends. So I recorded them to myself so that I would have them until I buy them on record myself. So about half of these tapes that I now have, I already have on record, like this one here, which includes Don McLean and Cliff Richard. So these have really served their purpose by now, so they are really useless to me by now. But there are still a couple of those that I am still, let's say, they are waiting for me to buy them on record, and here's one. This one includes Buffalo Springfield. There's also Temptations, and which one was the third one? Well, I don't remember which one, but there were three bands that I'm still intending to buy. So not all of them are completely useless to me, but yeah, of the 41 I have, I think 20 of those I already have on record, so they have served their purpose on that sense. Then let's take a look at bootlegs. I actually have 3 bootlegs. This one is interesting in one way. This is Led Zeppelin live in London, Paris Theatre 1971. And the interesting thing, well, kind of interesting thing about this is that I taped this one off from a national radio station broadcast. And I don't remember how many years I had this until I finally bought this one, BBC Sessions by Led Zeppelin. And the sleeve notes here made it clear that this national radio station broadcast was actually broadcast from a bootleg tape. That makes it interesting, but it's useless also. The second one is Phil Lynott Grand Slam. I was in Ireland, Dublin, so I wanted to get something from Phil Lynott, and I found this one. This is a live recording with a couple of studio tracks thrown in, but it's a cassette bootleg, so it sounds like crap, and I never listened to it, but it was bought from Ireland, so I have to have it. And the third one was my friend had a Sex Pistols bootleg, and one side of it was live, and the other one was titled Carry On Volume 2. So this is just Sex Pistols interviews. And also according to also interviews, these are interviews that I have taped myself from the radio. And this one includes interviews from Bruce Dickinson, Gary Moore, Simmons and Stanley, Filthy Animal Taylor, Nico McBrain, and to me most interestingly it includes interview from Alec John Such, the original bass player from Bon Jovi. I also have another tape which includes some interviews. Then also I have 3 cassettes. In the late 80s I worked at one office, and there was a work colleague who was a major jazz fan, and he taped me 3 cassettes and he called them All That Jazz, this one here being volume 2. He taped them to me so that he would this would serve as an introduction to jazz for me, and I actually like them very much, but to this day I have bought really a few of these artists that I have on this. From this one I only have Ella Fitzgerald and Stan Getz, nothing else. But I really should buy more of these artists that I have on these tapes. Of these pre-recorded tapes that I have bought, most of them I bought simply because I wanted to give them a chance, but I really didn't think that I would ever really grow to like them much. So cassette is sort of a secondary thing to me, so that would be, well, I wouldn't have to buy them on record, so that's why I give them a chance on cassette. And here's one good example. Robert Plant, Fate of Nations. It's an okay album, but I've never really cared for it much. Rarities then. Obviously it's kind of hard to say which is a rarity or not, but let's take a look at a couple of these anyway. Here are 2 cassettes from a band called Sleepy Sleepers, Finnish band. This one here is Chinese Nights. It's one of their albums that they recorded in '83. What makes this one a special thing is that this one was one they recorded in English, and this is Chinese Nights, so it has a different title to the one that they recorded in Finnish. I have the Finnish album on vinyl, and the other one is Pahimmat, compilation of their earliest material. Their first company that they were on was EMI, so they left after 3 albums, so this compiles their earliest singles with a few album tracks thrown in. Although I've had these tapes since the late 80s or early 90s, I have only ever seen each of these once on vinyl. I have Pahimmat on CD. This was released on CD in 1998, but by now even this one is, even the CD is hard to come by. Then Metallica, Creeping Death. I remember that I bought this because I thought it was kind of funny format to be released, a single on cassette. I've been looking for this one on vinyl for a few years now, and it would be actually dead easy to find on vinyl, but it would cost something like 30 euros or more, and I'm not ready to pay that much. One that was, at the time when I found this was a really exciting find. Peter Criss, Out of Control. It took me about 20 years, so I think even more, until I finally found this one on vinyl. So at the time this was really really exciting find. And I remember I bought this from one store. They had this a box full of cassettes, and they were selling them for 1 mark each. But obviously there was somebody who had some kind of an idea, because this one cost, I think, was it 2 or even 3 marks. Wildly expensive cassette. And yeah, one more. Bergkund Through the Wall. I have this one on vinyl, so I was when I picked these cassettes out, I was wondering that why did I buy this one on cassette, until I had a look at it, and there is a bonus track compared to the vinyl, so that's why I have this on cassette. There's only ever been one band that I have considered as collecting on cassette, which was a bit surprising because before I bought these cassettes I already had one of their albums, Live in Tokyo, on CD, so I'm a bit surprised that I decided to buy this on cassette. And the band is Public Image Limited. And I have these 4 albums because I bought these from London. I don't remember if I bought all of these, all 4 of these on my first visit there, or did I buy these from 2 separate visits. But I do remember, but my guess is that why I bought these on cassette was simply because they were on sale, and it being my first visit to London, I wanted to buy records on every format, so I bought these on cassette. Of all of these, I haven't bought all of these, even second hand. Here's a 4 cassette compilation box set. This one was given to me, and then there are a few, like this one, Def Leppard Adrenalize. I found this. I don't remember actually where I found this, but this I remember that this cassette case was broken when I found this, so I replaced it. And also Bob Seger and Silver Bullet Band, Like a Rock. This was simply on the street. I was walking on the street and this was on the ground, so I just picked it up. I said on one of my videos that I would throw this in a bin, but here it is. Still, maybe one of these days I will throw this in a trash. And okay, before I mention the last one, there's been several of these that I have, cassettes that I have already bought on other format, like Mick Jagger, Wandering Spirit, but there are still a couple that are still waiting until I buy them on other format, and this one being number 1 on my list. In Excess, Welcome to Wherever You Are. Okay, on to the last one. One of LJ's recent videos, I mentioned that I only have one album that I have never listened to, and that one it actually is right here, Stray Cats Live in Helsinki. But I actually may have a second one, and that one is this Janet Jackson compilation, Design of a Decade. I remember that I found this from a trash can which was on our front yard of the company that I was working, and it must have been at least 15 years ago, because the company has moved 3 times since. Now, I don't remember for sure have I listened to this or not, but I have a memory that I once meant to listen to this, and when I found this, this was like in the middle of the tape somewhere, so I rewinded to the beginning. So let's see if my memory of that one is correct. And yes, I do remember. I have rewinded this, but I seem to remember that I was meant to listen to this, but once I had rewinded this to the beginning, I have to leave somewhere, so I've never listened to this one. So I would say that by now it's high time I give this one a listen. Well, someday, not today. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.